All right, everybody, Charlie Hauk back again with another Fast Tip Friday. Hey, look, I talked about goals in the last session, and I just wanted to kind of get a little deep dive on part of that before I threw that big idea about making sure you're not going overboard. Um, we've done this goals program, I don't know, three, four times a year for close to 30 years. So we've spent a lot of time. And one of the things that I know a lot of people don't think a whole lot about, but I think it's my job, my responsibility to remind you about it. So, um, in making big goals and big changes, there's things that you've got to consider as you go about daring yourself to be as great as we think you can be. I'm a subscriber to a guy named James Clear. James is the author of Atomic Habits, and he's got some really great stuff in there. And if you subscribe to his weekly email, you get he calls it 321, three ideas, two quotes, and one challenge. It's really good stuff. And one of the things he posted recently was, what do you have to let go of to facilitate the changes that you wish to make this year in 2025? And I think that's a really important idea to consider when you look at where you are today and where you want to be January 1st, 2026. So I thought I'd throw a little bit at you about what it takes to get that accomplishment where you want it to be, make it more realistic. And so I want to talk to you about the 5 elements of commitment, because goal achievement, as much as there's all kinds of stuff, or goal setting is great, but goal achievement is really what pays the bills. So there's 5 things that you've got to have to really ramp up your commitment. And since we're recording, I figure I'll give them to you off the paper instead of just trying to read them all. You've got to have tools. You got to have the resources. You got to have the implements that you're going to need to make it happen. You got to commit the time that it's going to take to make the changes and invest in yourself and understand what makes you work and what demotivates you. You've got to be willing to change. And change is the essence of commitment. If you talk about it, it doesn't matter. You've got to actually do it. So change is critical, and commitment is what moves it. You've also got to have an understanding that risk is always part of the equation. You're not going to do things differently if you don't risk something being different or something that you're going to do without in order to replace it with something better. And lastly, you've got to understand that along the way, you will experience failure. No one makes these changes. No one goes into new and different or new and more challenging without putting themselves substantially in the way of risk. So take care of all 5 of those things. But at the end of the day, you've got to understand that to get where you want to go, you've got to let go of some of what you are today. And as someone taught me years ago, in my very early days in the training business, you can never get to second with one foot still on first. So go ahead, take the second bag, but don't trip yourself up trying to do too much without letting go of enough. That's my advice. Hope it helps. Go make it a great year. Take care.